Fans are outraged about the latest update coming to Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and Dragon Ball FIGHTERZ, and when you find out, you may be surprised. Now, I won't say one way or another whether this offends me or not. This news kind of is pretty minute to me. It really doesn't bother me, but I understand if it would bother some of you. So, what is this controversy that's causing people to be upset? Well, they are making PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X remasters of Xenoverse 2 and FIGHTERZ. Now, this may come as a surprise to pretty much everybody because we kind of knew this would be happening maybe one day, but I mean, it's Xenoverse 2 and FIGHTERZ. They released on PS4 and Xbox One. A lot of people were kind of expecting maybe if one day these games did go on to the next modern day platforms, the next gen consoles, which kind of aren't next gen anymore, people would probably assume they would be with Xenoverse 3 and FIGHTERZ 2. Well, that's not exactly the case because, as you all know, they tend to just pump out DLC for these games. So they're making the new updated versions with upgraded graphics. Sounds good, right? Well, these graphics are not really that much of an upgrade, if I'm being honest. I'm not trying to hate on the games by any stretch of the imagination. I really enjoy the games, and I think the upgrades will be nice for people that want them, but I don't think they're necessarily necessary, for lack of a better word. I mean, look at FIGHTERZ. What did it really upgrade? It looks like it's just a little bit more saturated. And then when you look at Xenoverse 2, a lot of people are pointing this out. What did they really add to the graphical update? I mean, maybe some grass flowing through the wind, and that's it. And we actually saw some people come out and defend this. Again, I'm not using that word defend like it's something you need to defend or anything like that. Like I said, this doesn't really affect me one way or another. I'm just saying there are people that came out and made a statement on this in its defense. And the defense seems to be coming from the perspective that there's so many textures in Xenoverse 2 that going through and remastering them would just be more trouble than it's worth. And that makes sense. I mean, look at the character list. There's a lot of characters, there's a lot of areas, there's a lot of maps with a lot of textures. It's just a lot to go through and upgrade individually. Now, if you're a fan of World of Warcraft, you may know that those guys used AI to upgrade some of their older textures, but AI in game development seems to be a controversial topic, and a lot of people aren't willing to go down that rabbit hole. So maybe this is an example where they really wouldn't go down that rabbit hole, and maybe they just thought AI wasn't the best choice for them at the time, which makes sense. I'm not saying AI to remaster or upgrade textures is always a 100% good thing, or that it's a sure bet to get results fast. I'm just saying, with World of Warcraft, they used that and it worked there. So that was one option they probably could have went with, probably not, but depending on how the textures work in different games. I don't know how the textures work in Xenoverse 2 compared to World of Warcraft. But a lot of people were outraged at this because it's saying it's their graphical update, and the graphical update is pretty minor. It's almost not even necessary. But when you get down to it, it appears to be a fairly free update or a fairly free upgrade, and I doubt they would charge you for this. I don't even think it's been announced to come at a cost or anything like that. It's most likely a free upgrade, which is alright. They did the same thing with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I know I could upgrade to the PS5 version for free, but that game, I feel like the upgrade is more noticeable whenever it comes to what they upgraded. Anyways, guys, that pretty much does it for this video. I just wanted to go ahead and talk about this outrage that's going on right now for these remasters that aren't really necessarily remasters. It's more like slight upgrades that do some minor graphic enhancements. I don't even think that they necessarily marketed it as a remaster. I think it said somewhere like it was remastered graphics. Not really. Their graphics aren't really remastered. It's just been touched up a little bit, nothing too crazy. Like I said, I think on FIGHTERZ it looks like all they did was up the saturation, but it really wasn't that much of a big deal to me. I just felt like using this time to actually talk about the fact that we are getting Xenoverse 2 and FIGHTERZ on PS5 and Xbox Series X/S. And another thing I wanted to say before we closed out the video was that the new box art looks awesome, and we saw this art at the end of a Xenoverse 2 trailer recently, I believe. And as you can see, the create a character, custom character is featured on the box art. People are speculating maybe this is a good sign that the custom character will be more involved with the story of Xenoverse 2 going forward. And also, just to make another side comment, like I said before in another video, Sparking Zero, is going to be the next big Dragon Ball fighting game, but it looks like they're not going to be slowing down anytime soon with the Xenoverse 2 DLC. Considering they just did this and they're releasing it for PS5, that's probably a good sign that we can expect more. And as those DLCs release, you can probably expect the new graphics, which again, not really much of a big graphical update, but they'll probably be building this DLC slowly to be more accommodating of the PS5 system more than the PS4 system, if that makes sense. Anyways, guys, make sure you leave a like on the video, comment down below, and subscribe if you enjoyed. That'll be it for us today. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace off.